Hey, welcome back to another video. It's your Lifestylist K, your secure woman mentor. And if you are new here, I help women who struggle with repeated toxic relationships so they can break the cycle, regain self-confidence, and live the empowered, fulfilling life that they deserve. And so I wanted to come on today and talk about communication, healthy communication in relationships. I want to give these few tips in order for you to master or improve the communication in your relationship or improve communication in new relationships moving forward.
Take it away, feeling too good to me.
Now, when it comes to improving your communication skills in a relationship, I speak and I coach from experience. I know for me and for those that I've spoken with, it's always a lack of communication or it's a lack of understanding what a person truly means, right? Because a lot of times what we're wanting to do, we're wanting to communicate effectively, but we don't want to hurt someone's feelings. And the reality is, you can only hurt a person's feelings when they don't have clarity on what is being said and why is being said, right? We have to learn to comprehend what a person is saying. So, with that, active listening is needed in a relationship, right? Active listening is when you're listening to a person, y'all are having a conversation, you guys are conversing, and you are actively listening, meaning that you are also asking questions within that conversation. If you don't understand something, then you take the moment in time to ask, hey, what exactly do you mean? Because what I'm hearing you say is boom, 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 boom. This is what I take from that, right? And if that person's like, okay, I understand that, but that's not what I mean. And then they proceed to then tell you in a better way for you to understand. And when this is being done, this is you active listening to that person, attempting to gain understanding and comprehend what they are telling you in that moment. Because when we don't do this, we'll take what someone says, create our own meaning from it, and run with it. That is not improving communication skills in a relationship. And then we begin to assume, then we begin to overthink when we don't actively listen. I've done this. So I know exactly what that looks like and I know what that feels like. Because I know personally for me, I can be straightforward in my approach. And then sometimes I could be, well, I don't want to cause a rift with my concern. Effective communication also builds confidence in a relationship. If a person truly wants a relationship that has effective communication, and who's ever involved in that relationship has to understand this is part of that communication. And communication isn't always lovey-dovey fluff. Communication also includes the hard conversations, the things that don't really always sound pretty, sit pretty, make you feel good. And you have to be okay with that, right? Because just because it's a hard conversation does not mean that it's an attack on you, doesn't mean it's an attack on them. It just means, hey, I'm trying to understand what's happening here. And in order for me to clearly understand and fully comprehend, I need these questions answered. I need to have this conversation with you. So active listening takes time. And it takes you being willing to ask the questions when you don't understand, to tell a person what you took from the conversation or what you took from what they said. And then them saying, yeah, that's exactly what I mean, or no, that's not what I mean, but I get why you would take that from that, or why you would get that from what I said. So let me clarify. This moves us into the next, expressing your needs clearly. Really clearly expressing your needs is just giving a person clarification as well as yourself. Because sometimes we can express a thing, what we desire, what we need, but that person can also take from it a different meaning, right? So clarity is always needed when it comes to communication and the expression of that need, right? or that want. One reason why relationships can fail is because we don't express our needs clearly in a relationship, and we assume that the person should know what we need. And because we fail to express that and we just want a person to assume, or we assume that they know, then we fall short on the communication. And then we begin to go within, overthink, overanalyze, and then the relationship starts to toggle between, well, you don't care about my needs. Well, you don't care. I'm telling you, but you're not. And really, in reality, you're not really truly expressing it the way that a person would understand. So if you need more hugs, more dates, more whatever it is that you need, how do you effectively communicate that? Example, if you're in a long-term relationship and you guys have lost that, you might feel like you're losing that connection because you guys don't date as much, and boom, those things happen. Relationships go through their ebbs and flows, right? Their ups and their downs. So to express that need of what you want is going to take you speaking up, saying, "Hey babe, I really want us to date more. So I'm taking you on a date next week. This Friday, be ready." But whatever those things are, right? And to express that clearly, a person should understand. Okay, we need to date more because of blah, blah, blah. When you express a thing, you give the reasoning a lot of times behind it. I feel like, that the relationship is getting quote unquote boring, but I think good relationships are boring. Or you can just say, hey, I just want to, spice our relationship up. I want us to go back to what it was at the beginning. We were dating, we were laughing and having fun. Even if that's just once a week or 3 times a month, whatever your schedule looks like, express that need and be clear on it. Just don't say, well, I want to go on more dates. And it's like, okay, more dates means what? Just one date? What does that mean? What does that look like for you? You have to express that, and you have to be clear in that expression, right? So I want us to go here or go there. And sometimes you do have to take the lead in that in order for a person to understand or get it. Or if you are the person who normally takes the lead in that, and maybe you're tired of it, like, hey, why don't you plan a date for us? I love when you used to plan dates for us. I would love for you to plan a date for us and just have me to get ready. If we can do that regularly, I know that we have busy schedules, but if we can do that regularly, that will, spice up our relationship. That will get us back on track. Or if you're in that dating phase, express that need. A lot of us are dating and we're not really dating for with an intention, because when you're dating with an intention, you know what you need, right? And if a person isn't willing to give that, if you have expressed that in a way that's understandable and a person is not willing to give you that, then we probably shouldn't be dating anymore, or we shouldn't move any further than this, right? So expressing that need clearly allows you to see where the relationship is going. That way you can then make a decision based on what you've clearly expressed and then what that outcome brought. Communication is just so it's so key in order for you to move properly within a relationship. And then we're going to talk about resolving conflicts, because no relationship is without some conflict, some misunderstandings, right? We want to make sure that we're resolving them via communication. So, active listening and expressing your needs clearly are key components to resolving conflict when it comes up, because it will. It does. No relationship is without a misunderstanding. So, how do you resolve conflict when it pops up? Do you ignore? Do you get silent? How do you resolve it? Resolving conflict should always be respectful, right? And if you know that you are a person that likes to think about the situation first, your partner needs to understand that. And I'm going to give you a little tip for this. Please don't go a whole day without communicating what needs to be resolved, because then that can feel like you're ignoring a person. So if you're a person that's like, you know what, let me really think about it. Let me think, because it's a lot going on. I don't want to speak out of turn. I really want us to have a clear and concise conversation. So let me think about it. So we're going to go to work, whatever the case may be. And once we get off, we can talk about it then, or whatever the case may be. You might not necessarily be at work that day. You might say, well, let me take up an hour or so. Let me really gather my thoughts. Because sometimes when conflicts come about, some people have anxiety. They can't really express themselves the way that they need to. They have to think about it. They have to calm the situation first. Because just depending on how big the issue is, right? Sometimes you can resolve it then and there. So you want to make sure that everyone is heard. So in order to do that, there's going to have to be a give and take. You might have a partner who really don't like conflict, but the communication still has to be had. So what will work for you is the question, right? Because I really want to resolve this issue. I really want us to have the conversation. If you don't want to have it now, we do need to have it at least within the next 24 hours, because you don't want to carry it too long. So a part of that communication and improving the communications is understanding how you guys are going to resolve conflicts, or how you resolve conflict. Now, if there's a conflict and it's never talked about and someone just ignores it and then you just try to go on with your day 2 or 3 days later, that doesn't work. That's going to get old really fast. So let's resolve conflict as quickly as possible with effective communication that is respectful. So we have active listening, we have expressing your needs clearly and resolving conflict respectfully, right? And then of course, there's techniques within that to break that down. But when it comes to relationships, we want to make sure that we are having conversations and we are communicating as effectively as possible. And if we are in a relationship or dating and you want to continue to remain in that relationship and keep it healthy, the communication has to be there. Like stated before, it builds trust, it builds honesty, it builds a great foundation for a very secure relationship when you guys can communicate effectively. I hope that these tips helped. I hope that you can take these and implement them into your relationship, into your dating pool. But until next time, I am your Lifestylist K, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.